It does look like we could, if we wanted to, make corpse piles never decay. Don't think we want to do that, but I think this is the place where bone pile 2 decay turns into bone pile 1. So commenting out this line, these 2 lines would cause them never to decay. I think there's something interesting about corpse piles not decaying, but that's a idea for another time. Yeah, so I think getting back to braziers for a second, I think that if we look at this, the building lit brazier is the indicating stage, right? So the blue flame that cannot be interacted with. And then it says on turn night of 1, or I guess after turn 1, it converts the lit brazier into a brazier lit, which is the interactable one. I think the other piece of it would be in the same place as enemy spawning. So there's certainly a lot of spawning stuff going on. I wanted to look at, so we looked at building upgrades. Random buildings direction definitions. What the heck is random building directions definitions? Hold on, I've become distracted. Used to test boss spawns, used to test various setups for Glintfine. Okay, so this looks like a testing file. So I didn't see anything that indicated the boss braziers being a different. Oh, so here we go. Extinguish boss brazier. So there is brazier boss somewhere. Yeah, it would completely invalidate Omen of Vultures. I will say though, I think an omen of non-decaying corpses could be a really cool omen once we get to the point of potentially adding omens. Just throwing that out there. I think it's a neat idea. I'm going to take a note on my piece of paper. I titled it on my sheet of paper, Omen of the Refrigerator, because the idea would be that corpse piles would be refrigerated. Okay, but there was. So anyway, so let's take a deep breath here. Take a break from digging around, and go ahead and bring up the Unity Asset Bundle Extractor and actually create our modified file. Because at the moment, we're running an unmodified version of the game. Exactly. Just pile up the bodies of enemies to protect yourself from the oncoming horde. Also, can you change the health or AP requirements of extinguishing braziers? I'm sure you can. I'm guessing if I swap back over to this, I'm guessing there's something specific for Elderlect. Victory cutscene for Elderlect. That's not what we're looking for. You still believe that a hospital where you use workers to reroll levels up should exist? Ooh, that's a clever idea, Juan. I like that. I like that concept. For sure. But yeah, I'm not sure where the Elderlicht specific things are. That's an interesting question. Like I said, there's only 142 files. At some point, I should dump all the file names so I can more easily poke around. But Asset Studio does a good job with it. But anyways, let's get our game remodified because, you know, at some point we need to actually do some modding. So far we've just been digging around in the goodies, which is nothing wrong with it, but it's fun sometimes to have actually things change. So we need skill definitions, items melee. We need to view its data. We need ranged view data. We need magic view data. Then what else are we working with? We got melee, ranged, magic. Then we have skill definitions. Oh, wait, this is skill definitions. Building. Oh, we're already on building. Okay, so let's grab building. And then after buildings, we have perks. And then we also now have glyph definitions, which I'm a little curious to tweak that a bit. So I'll at least we'll hold off on grabbing it quite yet. But I will grab perk definitions. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to get all of these things loaded in. So the way that we do that is we go through each one, we click on the mscript version, we go import data, and then we go to our melee definitions. We go import data. We need our range definitions. We need our magic definitions. Then this is our buildings. There we go. And then our perks. Have we made any changes to our perks file? I'm not sure we have. But anyways, we can do that. We can apply and save. And this is going to create our modded file, which we're then going to copy into our local game files. I didn't have all my browser windows set up, so for that I am eternally apologetic. Like, there are actions that heroes can perform without needing any gear, like base leap and punch. So there's probably some skill definitions base or skill definition heroes or something along those lines. Might also hold the perk things for cheer, reload. Yes, so that is skill definitions miscellaneous, Abigail. I can bring that up here, but I'm pretty sure that, yeah, first one that we go to, because I think I was looking at it before, is here is punch. And I don't think that it doesn't include cheer, because cheer exists in skill definitions _perk. So this has all of the activatable skills, like here's execute as an example, that you can do. And now we know that the punch for execute is the same punch that they use on punch itself. What do you think about max level working house ability to be upgradable to give all heroes a level, but you spend all those workers? Okay, I'm guessing miscellaneous is, so let's try here. So it does not have the letters BRA or EXT. So it's not in there, but we can check. Let's do a find in all of the files for... So skill definitions bosses has a bunch of brambles. That's not what we're looking for. So yeah, so it's not in, whatever it is, it's not in any of the files that I have pulled out yet. Which I can, is there an easy way for me to show the list of files? I don't know that there is. If I temporarily make this small, does this help? Nope, I think that hinders. Yeah, so we just checked. We also have items usable. Let's go back to, hold on. Please hold. We'll go back to Asset Studio. Bring that up on this one. We'll go Skill definition. So we have skill definition bosses. I bet this is where it lives. We got spawners. All right, so let's export this one so we can take a look at it in the proper way. So I'm going to go over to Asset Studio Bundle. I'm going to we're going to find skill definition again. Skill definition bosses. We'll do view data, pull this out, grab that, export data. We'll put it into our base directory because I'm not looking to modify it quite yet. Oh, I'd already pulled out skill definition bosses. Well, I guess I had. Hold on. I guess I pulled all the skill definitions out. So we already have it. But that also means that our search didn't find it, so it has some other name. All right, so it looks like this file is very large. I just got a warning. Yep, looks pretty large. So let's see. So we got Bramble Spike. We extinguish. No, we have Extreme Entangle. We have Nessie Egg. Can I go like Archivist doesn't show up in here. All right, let's just scroll randomly for a second and see what we find. When in doubt, random scrollage. Nessie Boss head water changes. There's a lot of Nessie stuff in here. Second ring Nessie stuff, so that's the second level up for her. More Nessie stuff. Target units buff. This is the Harpy boss. Throne Tower boss fight. All right, here we go. Whoa. So first of all, this is just hilarious. So the first skill in the Archivist fight is Throne Tower Annihilation, which I've never lost. I've never lost Elderlicht to this effect, but it looks hilarious. So it does 280 damage in the center, which I think is always fatal to the last spell. And then it skips a square and then does a giant diamond of devastation. And the secondary effect, if I can even find it, oh my goodness. Oh, so the Archivist was originally known as the Monarch, for those who are interested. I love little things like that. Okay, so secondary effect. Where are you? Skill action. Okay, so this was bosses. Maybe skill definition enemies contains the Brazers. I think this is different. I think with 4 full health mages at the spell, you can just about survive 1 hit from the Archivist countdown. Oh, really? That's surprising to me. Let me come back over here. So Brazers. Oh, skill definition Brazers. Good job, me. All right. This is the file we were looking for. Obviously. That was embarrassing. Let's grab it here. We'll view data. Export data to file. Put this in the base directory. There we go. New file has been acquired. But yeah, I was under the impression that it's not supposed to be, but I don't know. So, okay, so let's see. So we have skill definition extinguish brazier. And it is contextual, and it is brazier specific true. The is contextual is interesting. So I think is contextual is whether or not so this is actually an important thing. So the thing that the Brazers do that we might want to consider doing at some point. And I don't know if we can, but they have this is contextual true flag here. And then they have a contextual condition block that says this only works if the building exists and the target health left equals 10 plus level times 3. So my read on this is that for Brazers, they... Exactly, Abigail. That was what I was thinking. I was wondering if is contextual and contextual conditions was something that we could use with our attempt at making the short bow a charge and attack weapon. I think that's a very interesting question. Because the thing about XML, because I think we've talked a bit about this, but not in great detail, is that the like tree structure that is created by XML can have a lot of inheritance in it, right? And inheritance is the idea that you can have 3 different XML types that are derived from a single parent. And there's lots of complexity to that I am glossing over. But what it would mean for us is if this is contextual property and the contextual conditions thing is something that can exist on any skill definition, then we might be in business. Because the other thing that I'm thinking about that could be really cool is, in addition to doing this, if we could tell when heroes are standing next to ballista and then give them an activatable ability of their own, that could be really cool. So essentially, because we've talked about this before, I think, but the idea of defenses being manable is very curious to me. So just throwing that out there. Okay, yeah. So basically, right, they use the health on the Brazers to track how much AP they need, right? Takes 2 AP to do 10 damage. But the thing is this skill is being added to the heroes. I mean, it is a coding type, but like I'm not going to go through like, diamond inheritance and multiple inheritance and all of those things because, it is beyond the scope of what we're doing here. So let's see. Yeah. So skill definition, element conditions. So we have a little bit of documentation here. So let's read the documentation. So we have element conditions. If not specified, the skill will always be displayed. If specified, a condition needs to be valid. Usable conditions are in watchtower, target in range, only during phase, production or deployment, production or deployment or night. In the following example, the skill will be available during the production phase or night or in the target range. So this is not a very long list of conditions. But yeah, so this is very limited, right? Because first of all, and this is where things get really messy, the usable conditions does not include building exists or target health left, right? So both of these exist in the code and were added as additional properties that are not part of the original documentation. Well, yeah, so the problem that we would run into, Isabel, is I'm guessing, and let's go look at back protection, right? That would be in perk definitions. Okay, well, nothing has the name that you expect it to have, so let's find it. Then how does execute work? Which code word? Yeah, so we'll check that too. So here's finish him. We were actually right there, so we should look at it. Wait, weren't we? Didn't I just? So we have jump over wall. So we have leapfrog, and leapfrog is contextual. And Leapfrog uses the exact same target health left, but then it also uses invalid cast display button, displayed unavailable. How does it actually figure out if you can do the thing? This is where things get crazy. So first of all, the during phases aspect of things, they seem to have moved away from completely. But so like, for instance, you can only cheer if a unit is in range. Valid targets playable units. And then invalid behavior. So this one doesn't even have a condition. So here's finish him. This is the one we were looking for. Okay. So condition is checking that the target's max health. Health left is 10 plus 3 times the level, which is the definition of fatality. And then it has a range associated with it, which also disables or enables it. Side note, skill effect kill. That could be something that comes in handy later. But let's find back protection, because I'm actually really curious about back protection. I don't actually think it's going to be in skills perk. It's going to be in perk definitions, because it's not an activatable ability. That is my understanding, Abigail, but it looks like something that they found a different way to do, basically. Okay, so here's back protection. So ID back protection. Effect display, perk needs update, is active. Perk is active. Okay. So see, literally, the way that they handle if this perk is active is they have a Boolean choice of owner is back protection valid. Ha! So I believe that's something that's going to be provided by the code. Somewhere in the code, as a hero gets near and moves away from walls, they have this is back protection valid flag toggled, which is not helpful. But it would give us a pattern for how to do it. Not a fan. How can you not be a fan of Boolean values? The whole world works on Boolean values. All our logic is basically Boolean. Let's see. So yeah, so we have this perk is active, token variable. Boolean. Is that like Jolene but different? So yeah, so we basically have this check that is saying if the perk is active, then the perk is active. And in this case though, the perk definition is not using the skill is active. So I don't know that helps. So it's like it's like the opposite of yay thick is what you're saying in Lustrous, I think. But anyways, let's see. So we just went ahead. I think I just exported a new mod file. So let's make sure that we've actually made the changes that we wanted to make, right? We should do that. So let's need to make this window a little leaner, if you will. All right, there we go. So I will do that to that. This to this. All right, and let's do a quick. Oh, wait, I did the wrong thing. Hold on. Please hold. There it is. This one is the one that I want to back up. What I'm doing right now is I'm just shuffling around the asset files to get things loaded in. And now let's bring back up the last spell. since it's been a minute. And let's see if we can actually fire up the game with our changes. Say hello to our favorite little construction worker. We can get a little bit of game sound too. So far, everything seems to have loaded properly. Go to Glint Fine. I'm going to do bigger waves just because I want a few more enemies. But mainly, we're just going to go and we're going to make sure that we actually made the modifications that we wanted to make. But yeah, this conditional logic is very interesting. Now, let's see. Do I not currently have changes? Okay, yeah, so we have charge and lose charge. Look at that. So cool that those are just there. We just haven't, Rain of Arrows, we haven't figured out, how about now, Abigail? I turned it up, but not very high. That or I broke something. One of the two. All right, so we have modified skills. Which feels good. If we were to build a ballista, since we're gonna want to build a few ballistas. I'm gonna build them out here, but at the moment, right, ballistas do 0 damage, have a stun chance, and are undodgeable. I just had a weird thought. There might be some interesting gameplay around the idea of creating non-mounted ballistas and intentionally hampering their vision so you get better results out of your stuns, right? Like if you had a whole bunch of these that were like staggered with a bunch of walls so they couldn't see the same enemies, you might get a better result, which is a weird thing to think about. But anyways, so I'm super intrigued by, yeah, we were looking at skill definition braziers here, right? And we saw this conditional. Now the conditional is pretty lame, right? It says building exists, which presumably is checking that there is a building next to them. But that doesn't seem like enough. Oh, valid targets. Building category lit brazier. Ooh, okay. All right, so this is then very interesting. So okay, so what's happening here is the contextual condition is saying, does the building exist? The valid targets is saying what buildings are valid, right? And then the max health is saying that the thing has enough health to do the thing, right? So if it has 0 health, like an extinguished brazier, then it can't do anything. Okay, we might be able to make something work here. Now, we have to figure out where the building categories come from. That's the next big question. So let's bring up, so we're gonna go back again to Asset Studio, because that's our exploratory tool. And we're gonna look at buildings. We have skill definition buildings, random buildings per day definition, buildings generation definition, building directions, meta, and building sounds. None of those seem correct. So not... Like what I'm trying to find is I'm trying to find the actual definition of, say, like the blacksmith. Maybe there's an individual file for each of them? No, there's not. See, we have, oh, building definitions. How, I was just looking at this. How did this not? All right, so I think we need to get this one exported. Sometimes seeing is hard. Ah, it's singular. Good call. Thank you, Oatmeal. Good eye. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of... I want to look at the brazier stuff here, too. So we have brazier definition as well. I think I want to grab that. Just so we can see what the data looks like. Can I look at that over here? Can I not spell? I cannot spell. All right. Okay, so what's actually in this file? Guardian definition 3B ham short. Ham wand. I'm always most afraid of the ham wand. Okay, so we got 2 braziers, 3 braziers, 4, 5, 8. Ooh, puppy going wild. Puppy going wild. Okay, so that doesn't seem like it's too useful, but let's take a look at buildings. The building definition. So we have the magic circle, and I just want to see puppy borking. Bork, bork, bork. Bork, bork, bork. Bone piles. Okay, so let's get building definitions exported so we can really see it, because clearly there's something interesting here. The brazier changes didn't... Got brazier definition. Portrait box. Wait, buffalo? Oh man. All right. Building definitions. Let's grab this. This is the one that we want. Export this. Okay, so now we have building definitions out here. So let's take a look at this in a place where we can actually see what's going on. And the first question that I wanted to ask was, does... it's referred to as turret. So here is turret. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, this is really cool. So, category turret. So now we know that buildings have categories. And we also know that we can potentially set up conditionals based on them. So, the next thing I think I want to try, the first big, aspect of what we're doing here, is I think I want to try to make a weapon skill that only shows up when you're standing next to a ballista. I'm suddenly feeling like that's a lot. No. We haven't looked at the building definition file in Lustrous, I don't believe. This category field is at least new to me. We're thinking of lure traps. I'm not sure, but this is interesting. There's also a build limit. Okay, so if we want to do... We don't need... Building definitions, we don't need anything from. We just wanted to know that there is a category. So the thing that I'm wondering right now is we have this example of being able to check to do an ability based on a thing. Now, I'm trying. What I'm wondering is if we put one of these skill definitions. Okay, let's just take an ability and see if we can do it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into ranged weapons, and I'm gonna go to what are the weapons that we currently have in our game. I want a weapon that we haven't modified much. Sure. Let's modify Hammer of Faith. So we're going to go into magic, weapons. I'm going to expand this so you can see what I'm seeing. And then we're going to go and we're going to find the scepter. There it is. And we'll just mess with Magic Bash for the moment. Not that this is a good example. But the thing that we want to mess with, let's close that, is we want to borrow the valid buildings clause, which in this case sits directly under the skill definition. So we have a skill definition here. So I am literally going to add right here, valid building. But the category that I'm going to add is the category from the building definitions, which is that is category turret. So we're going to go here and we're going to say category turret. Then we're going to go back to the braziers here, and we're going to add is contextual to the item in question, which is this one here. So Magic Bash is going to become is contextual. We can boop that out of the way for a second. So, okay, so we're saying that it is contextual. We're saying that the valid targets is a turret. And then we're going to say that we're going to have a contextual condition that says that the building exists and the building has health. If this doesn't work, will we be able to make an ability usable only if the enemy has a certain debuff? That may be an option, yes. It does seem like we may have options like that. So we're going to say contextual condition, which maps to the is contextual, is building exists and the building has health. And building exists is checking that it is type turret. Now, the other thing we need to add is invalid cast display behavior, and it's going to be display unavailable. So we're going to come here. We're going to add invalid cast display behavior. So now that we've done that, let's take a look at this one here. I'll shift this over so we can just take a look because we want to see if there's anything else that we're missing. Everything down here looks totally generic. Yeah, okay. So let's try this as is. So I think we have just made it so that you can only use Magic Bash on turrets if you're standing next to turrets. So let's do that. I'm going to bring up Asset Studio as per usual. I'm going to import the magic weapons. I'm going to save and apply. Save, replace. Gonna copy this over. We're going to sort by date modified so that I can do that. We're just going to delete that file. We're going to do that. Yes. And then now we need to restart our game. It's not the best ability, but the potential, I think, is large for something like this. If we can do something like this, I think there's some very interesting potential.